evening, everyone. This is Adrienne Serrao, program host with TorontoTV.org, and I'd like to welcome you this evening. Our show for the next half an hour or so is going to be featuring immigration policies with Tony Luke, who's an immigration consultant with Can Home Immigration. I'd like to welcome you to the show.
Thank you.
And first of all, maybe you could tell us a little bit about your own background and how you got involved in this business.
Yes, I was immigrant to Canada in 1974.
Okay.
And I've been in the business for more than 20 years.
Oh, wow.
And how I involved in the business, I was an interpreter working in the immigration and also in the Ontario court. So that's how I become involved. And I encounter a lot of cases in terms of immigration and criminal cases, so that I become, have a little bit background about the immigration law in Canada. As well as I also went to Seneca, and I have some courses there, and I graduated with honor in Seneca College. I specialize in immigration laws, and I start my own business.
Great. So right now, how long has your business been operating for?
Well, I incorporated the company more than 17 years.
Oh, great. Okay.
But I was in the business, actually I'm in the business more than 20 years. Personally.
Okay, great. So maybe you can tell us a little bit more about your business. What are some of the services that you're offering clients at the moment?
Well, we offer one-stop services. Of course, is the immigration is our main business. We do some citizenship cases. Citizenship in terms of people have language problem. Citizenship in terms of people do not live here for more than 3 years, but because some good reason they travel back and forth Asia to Canada or other countries.
Right.
Or some special cases, people with a criminal offense when they apply citizenship. And I also help people getting the student visa from Asia to Canada. Actually, a lot of youngsters and students want to come to Canada for study.
Right. And who are most of your clients at the moment?
Well, my clientele is Asian. I think Chinese is one of the major clientele. And also we have some people from Hong Kong, Taiwan, Malaysia, Indonesia, Philippines.
Okay. So I know you're doing a lot of business right now with China, and so I'm just curious, maybe you can share with us a little bit more of what you're doing right now with China and Chinese clients specifically.
As everyone knows, China is the #1 immigration sources from overseas. From the statistics provided by Immigration Canada, each year more than or close to 40,000 people immigrate from China to Canada, and it's #1 immigration sources.
Wow, that's a huge number.
Yes, and then in the past few years, stay #1. So India is the second largest, and more people from India, want to come to Canada, and we see the trend in the future. People from India will have the same kind of number of people close to Chinese.
Right.
And also Korean, Filipinos and things like that.
What do you think are some of the biggest challenges facing people, maybe say Chinese, that are looking to immigrate to Canada?
I think language is one of the issues.
Right.
Although the skilled worker encounter a large portion of the immigration section or sectors, we have skilled workers, we have family members, we have investor, entrepreneur, self-employed. Skilled workers occupy a large portion of the immigrants. And language seems to be one of the problems. Although it's not a big problem, but this was one of the barrier for them to immigrate.
Right.
We knew that a lot of the Filipinian and skilled workers in China, because the language barrier, so that's why barred them from immigrating to Canada.
And is there a language requirement?
Yeah,
or a
for
certain
skilled-
criteria for
yeah,
people
for
moving?
skilled workers, yes.
Okay, okay.
And that's why I also pushing the bill to go through the bill which is proposed by the former immigration minister, Annaloi Chapin. I remember they back a few years ago, like when a Liberal Party in power, she was the immigration minister, and she proposed people can sponsor their family members once in a lifetime.
Okay.
Because we have a problem, people they have the working experience, they have the skill, they have a family member here, but because the language problem, they could not come. So, and then the only way can overcome that barrier is like the government can supply special program for them, like the once in lifetime sponsorship. The idea is like every immigrant or citizen, they can sponsor one family member in their lifetime to come over.
Okay.
And even though that applicant have some language or other qualification or the education program.
And would this be a long process? Like once you think it comes into place, would it take a long time for it to be processed and go through?
We haven't known yet because like the bill haven't passed through yet.
Okay.
But we are pushing the bill to pass, and we have some petition for the bill to pass. We wrote some letter to our MP, and we hope the bill will pass because like we knew there's a lot of cases because the family members separated because of the requirement of English and also the education. And because we know a lot of the senior, they have children overseas, namely China, they want to be reunited. But because the education and the language barrier, so the kid or children stay in China. Because the senior is so old, they cannot go back to China, and the Chinese family next of kin, they have problem in getting visa. So those family members have separated for a long time. Some members China, some people in Canada. So it seems very sad, you know.
Yeah, it's a sad case when people are separated that long from their loved ones and
Yes.
have a hard time moving. Yeah. What do you think are some of the other concerns in terms of just coming into Canada that you're seeing in your business apart from language?
We have some concern about the processing time because it seems that it takes a long time for people to immigrate to Canada, particularly in the skilled worker category. And also in the parents and grandparents really backlogged in those cases. It almost takes about 5-6 years
Really? Okay.
for applying the parents or sponsorship from Asia to so really sad or really disturbing because like for 5-6 years it takes 5-6 years for applying the parents or grandparents. We saw like cases that some parents waiting long, they pass away.
Really? Yeah.
Or the circumstance changes because like the kid want the parents to take care of the children or grandson or granddaughter, but 5-6 years the grandson already grow up. There's no need for them.
Right, and things change after 5 years dramatically sometimes.
Yeah, financially and other circumstances.
Okay.
And also there's some concern about the processing time for the investor or business place because like we knew that in Australia and Europe and other countries for investor or business class it will take about a year or so.
So it's much faster than if you're applying under that category.
Not to Canada, but
Okay.
in Australia when you apply immigrant to Australia under the business class it takes about a year or so. But in Canada when you applying under federal programs for business class it takes 2 to 3 years. Sometimes I see some case of 5 years.
Okay.
So the investor or the business people will discourage it because like if it takes too long for them.
So are you seeing that statistics are going down in terms of that category of people going through in that chain?
Well, speaking is going down. But of course those days steady applicants because like we have some backlog still.
Right. Right.
So backlog is one of the main issue concern.
And waiting and the long process,
Long process
right?
times.
Now, I know that part of your business is also looking at immigration moving toward China. Now,
Yes.
can you tell me a little bit about that? Maybe that's something that a lot of people aren't aware of, or how you can help them in that way.
Yes, it's interesting. In the past decades, like our company help people immigrate from Asia or from China to Canada. But since the trend that lately we encounter other cases, people want to work in China, and some people want to immigrate to China. As you know, that the GDP increase rate, over 9% or close to 10% in last year,
Right.
and the business booming, a lot of challenge, a lot of opportunity in China. So people want to find a job, people want to invest in business, people want to do some business in China. So in the past years, we have some cases people ask for help to getting working visa in China. And last year, the Chinese government first in their history have the green card system.
Okay. What's that about? This is the green card system in China.
Yes.
Okay.
That was announced, I think, early last year, that the Chinese government, in the first time in their history, granted green card to the foreigner,
Okay.
provided
Okay.
they be living in China for a number of years, and also they can prove they have contribution to the Chinese government or contribution to the local economy, or culture-wise, or have a significant contribution to the community. They would grant them a green card.
Okay. And is it quite difficult? Like when you say do they have to go through some sort of a process or a testing
Yes, I think.
situation? Like have people already been getting this green card? Or
Yeah, I
is
think
this...
the first one get is one Chinese dude got Nobel Prize, Mr.
Right.
Yang Zhenming.
Okay.
And then I think at the beginning, at first, the green card was granted to some dignitary or maybe some celebrities. But I think gradually the green card system will be more common in terms of layman, or will be more common to the publics. But it's quite a big proof for them, because before they don't have any green card system, you have renewed your work permit or you renew your visa, but last year they had that system. So because the Chinese government want to welcome and give a signal to the Western countries that they welcome people to work there, to invest there, maybe teaching there, or have some kind of a tie with China.
Right. How difficult is it now for foreigners to go in and work in China?
Well, it's more open than the year before. Day back in the 1980s, 90s, it's very difficult for not even work, but you visit China is at that time not that open. But nowadays, like China's open to the Western world, and then especially next year we have the Olympics.
Yes.
Now they promoted the Olympics spirit, as well as they try to give the foreign impression they are welcome. So I travel to China quite often. I almost every other month I go to China, and I see people in Beijing, the citizens, they learn more English. They try to be more civilized, and then they have some kind of training. Not only the citizen, but the policemen.
Really?
They were sent to the English school to upgrade their English skill, and also they're trained how they're more polite, and they try to learn the Western cultures.
Right. So you think that the conditions are getting better for people in terms of living, whether it's in Beijing, Shanghai, or other cities where they'll find business and work opportunities or investment opportunities?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Like we find, you will find more Western people live in Shanghai,
Right.
and Beijing and Guangzhou, the big cities in China.
So conditions are improving. So are you seeing a lot of people coming to your business and asking you then? You mentioned about visas. How else can you help people in terms of if they were interested in working in China?
Well, a few things we can help. Like first of all, like we help them to get a visa.
Right.
We can also help them to incorporate a company.
Okay.
It seems like not difficult, but when you know the culture system in China, it's not so easy. especially to the foreigner to incorporate a company. For instance, they have a requirement, a minimum capital. They have standard. How much money you have put as a starting capital. Doesn't like in Canada, actually you can invest $1 to open a company, but in China they have some kind of requirement.
Okay.
We so help them, to get the employee locally, and then because sometimes they don't know culture, at the beginning they have time to find white people to work for them.
Sure.
And also we help them find an accountant for their books, and then we help them to settle down. We can help them to find a place to live, accommodation. We can help them even though babysitter or
Really?
caregiver.
Okay, so then you can help them not only on this side in Canada, but also when they arrive in China.
Yeah, both ways.
Okay, so do you also have people working as well in China for you?
Yes.
Offices?
We
Yeah.
have an office in Beijing,
Okay.
Shanghai, Guangzhou, and Hong Kong.
Okay, so in terms of you have consultants on both sides of the ocean that can help clients
Yes.
at either end.
Before we do more Asian clientele now because we got more inquiry and also people want to ask to help to settle down in China.
Okay. And once they get there, what are you seeing in terms of sort of how easy or how difficult it is for foreigners to live in China?
I think depends the city, which city they live in. But I think in Shanghai, in Beijing, I don't think there's a big problem for them. But if they live in the southern part of China or they live in small city, they will have a difficulty in terms of language and cultures. But nowadays I see a lot of foreigner in Shanghai. They seems to adapt, quite quickly and quite easily to the culture.
Right. And any advice that you'd give for people that are thinking about doing business in China or in terms of settling or spending a few years there?
I think you must know the culture first. Like it's so important. In China, the culture in terms like sometimes like contacts. Sometimes which call 关系,
Yes.
the connections.
Yes.
Yeah. So it's quite different. Like in Canada, we talk to business in the office. We close the deal in office, but in China we close the deal in restaurant, or sometimes in a bar,
Kind of more of a social setting and through socializing and a business dinner perhaps or entertaining.
Yes, like people have different kind of cultures. So we must have a more study in the Chinese culture, in the how difference, and then sometimes like if not, we will have a hard time, because and also patience. Patience is one of the key word.
Yeah.
Sometimes like when we close a deal, a piece of deal in China, you need more patience at time.
What kind of, you mentioned patience. I'm just wondering in terms of maybe if people are thinking about moving, and going overseas, especially in China, what kind of maybe characteristics do you think would make someone successful when they move overseas?
I think they should do some research and they build some friends in China. It's important because the Asian culture and Chinese culture, really depends on the contacts and the friendship. Of course, like China, tries coming now to more be systematic. They try not to so much depend on people, but rather system. But
Right.
still take some time for them to improve, the system, like the Western world. So that's why when you go there, you must do some research about their culture, Chinese culture, and also maybe have some friends there to have contacts, and it will help you in become.
Right. So in terms of even just helping people in terms of understanding maybe Chinese business, can you provide them with this kind of consultation when they're here in Canada as well?
Yes, well, of course I know you.
Right.
So I know you do some training.
Right.
And also.
And you can do that as well through your business?
Yes. I don't do it myself, but I have some contacts.
Okay, great. And is there anything, just as we're starting to wrap up, just even in terms of your own final thoughts of where you see maybe immigration going? I mean, obviously this is a big topic in terms of we've seen in the past, obviously a lot of, Chinese coming to Canada. Do you see it in terms of a lot of Westerners sort of using this now to move to the other side?
Yeah, I see
future trends?
Yes,
Yeah.
I see a trend like, I think the people immigrate from China, Asia, will gradually slow down or become more steady because they could find a better job there. So I think the probably another issue of the accreditation of their qualification. So I think like the provincial government, Mr. Michael, the Minister of Citizenship, the government passed through the Bill 124, which acknowledged the foreigners accreditation. But I think it's a good start. We really delight to see that. But I think in terms of the employer and also business, they should support that idea because not only depends on the government, also depends on business. Even though they legislate the regulation, without the help or support from the community and also from the prospect employer, you will not be successful. So I would see in the future more Canadian or more people from the North America will move back to work in China. Some people may thinking immigrant there if after they living there for some time. And also I see a lot of students from Canada will study the Mandarin or Putonghua.
Sure.
In China. I saw a trend that for instance, for my kid, for my daughter, 2 years ago I sent her to China to learn the language, even though because she was born here, she don't know much about the culture. I sent them there. I sent her there not because I'm Chinese and she's Chinese, but I would see it will help her in terms in the long run when she graduated from the school. She knew the culture. She knew something about China. It will help her to compete with other graduate in the university or the college.
Absolutely, and I can't say enough that I think a business such as yours is here at such a right time in terms of China becoming one of the next big superpowers, and I think this is a service that both Chinese and Canadians can use equally. So I'd really like to thank you very much for joining us this evening, and I'd like to wish you all a great night. Thanks again.
Thank you.